For the acid-base lab with the kit, the first thing you need to do is hydrate your cabbage powder. So you put your 15 milliliters of water into the dropper bottle and shake it up. Now I have my sodium hydroxide in a glass with my thermometer in it because it tipped over. So please make sure that you support that. So I'm going to be using citric acid, and I'm going to tear a beaker on the scale so that I can read precisely what the mass of this citric acid that I put in is. Then I'm going to add my 4 drops of indicator and tear this scale so that you know exactly what everything weighs, just in case your scale turns off midway through the experiment. Then I'm going to tear the beaker again so that it reads 0, and using my base pipette, I'm going to start adding sodium hydroxide. Now take your time with this and add just a couple of drops at a time when you're going through pink to purple. Now you can kind of see the camera wants to focus on the rim, but as I drop sodium hydroxide in, there's a little bit of a green that starts to show. So that's how I know I'm pretty close. Now you see my purple is turning more and more blue. So I'm basically, you can think of it as erasing the red color out. So now I'm definitely blue. And I wrote down this mass just in case I screwed something up. So I'm going to get more and more green now. And if you are blue-green colorblind, you will have to ask for help with this one. So now you can see as I add more sodium hydroxide, there's almost like a yellow that appears when you add the sodium hydroxide. You're aiming for green, and you can't quite tell on the camera, but in person that was definitely more apparent. So you're going to do that titration 2 times. You need to write down the mass of sodium hydroxide that you added. And here I'm adding 2 milliliters to a clean dry, 2 milliliters of citric acid to my clean dry beaker. I wrote down how much of that citric acid there was, put in my indicator, just taking a sanity check mass here in case everything turns off. I have had a scale turn off partway through a titration. So now I'm adding more quickly because now I know approximately what volume to aim for or what mass to aim for. You see, I'm basically erasing that red, turning purple. The green is fairly apparent here when I add. So now I've turned my purple to a blue purple, and I'm getting close now. Now with this one, I believe it was this one that I wasn't sure if I was hitting like a blue-green. So I wrote down a mass and then I added a few more drops to see if I was more convinced. So now I'm going to make my unknown stock solution. So I'm going to empty the entire True Lemon packet into a clean, dry beaker, write down that mass, and then I'm going to add about 50 milliliters of water, but I need to know the exact mass of water added. So I write that mass down as well. And give this a minute to dissolve. You'll want to stir it. You'll want to get a clean pipette, and you can use that clean pipette to stir. You can also use it to suck up some of the solution and push it back down, create some convection that way. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to end up getting any solids in your pipette. So now you're going to want to dispense about 2 milliliters of solution. Dispense about 2 milliliters of your solution. And the instructions say to put 6 milliliters in a graduated cylinder and then take 2 out. If you're satisfied to just use a pipette, just use a pipette. Add in the same number of drops of indicator that you were using with your standard solution. And now you're going to titrate just as you did with the known solution. Now, I would also suggest, you see how my stock solution is right up here at the top? That's pretty dangerous. You don't really want to be doing that. So you want to put that stock solution somewhere farther away so that you don't end up accidentally putting some base in it. That would ruin everything. And you're going to titrate this just as you did the standard solutions until you hit that green color. Now you'll want to perform this titration a minimum of 2 times. Make sure you have at least 15 milliliters of sodium hydroxide left for the KSP. So I wanted to take a couple of household items and just see what we could see. I have some half and half. It turned a little purple. This is just a simple green cleaner. It turned purple as well. And I think what I'm doling out now is, Epsom salts. Epsom salts is magnesium sulfate, and then I'm going to hydrate it. Just pour a little bit of water in there. That was purple. I didn't really get an array of colors with my stuff. Then I have, let's see, which one was this? I think this is vinegar. And I have Barkeeper's Friend, which is like a pot scrubbing kind of thing, stainless steel scrubber. And that's acidic. And then I have, this is baking powder, not baking soda. This is baking powder, and baking powder does contain baking soda, however. So that was purple as well.